Jose Sharks.
We are in the warm
seven,
California sunshine in San Jose, the Champ Car World Series at what they call Redback Raceway.
Drivers, start your engines.
It is the oldest and most prestigious trophy in American motorsports, the Vanderbilt Cup. It's the holy grail at the end of the Champ Car Trail. A week ago in Edmonton, 3 drivers were virtually tied atop the Champ Car points chase. But a daring pass on the high side of one sent Sebastian Bourdais ahead of Will Power. Power eventually had to drop out with mechanical woes.
We lost a lot of points in Edmonton, very, very disappointing for us. But we got to come here and really perform. We need to finish right up front.
Dutch rookie Robert Doornbos's title hopes also dealt a blow when he got involved in this late race tangle.
Edmonton was very disappointing, but the season had ups and downs. And coming into San Jose, it's very important that we get good points for the championship and hopefully a podium.
Bourdais, his charge, the 4th win of his season. Now a slight lead in the chase for the Vanderbilt Cup.
Yeah, well, we had a great weekend in Edmonton. We finally put it back on track and, keep working on our sponge lead and hopefully just have a great weekend again.
Now the title contenders take their fight to the streets. Champ Car races in San Jose. You couldn't ask for a prettier day to go racing in the Champ Car World Series. Welcome to the San Jose Grand Prix, presented by Redback Networks. The field is underway on the first of 2 reconnaissance laps. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Jan Vikas is alongside Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner with the coverage for us on pit road today. 9th race of the 2007 season. And after Edmonton a week ago, Jan, Sebastian Bourdais reestablished himself at the top of the championship.
It was a big momentum shift in Edmonton. As you said, it was a virtual tie on the top 3. Then everything went Sebastian Bourdais' way. But check out what has happened with the progression. First of all, for Sebastian Bourdais, it didn't start well. Started off in a difficult position, but definitely a big momentum shift now after Edmonton.
He is back in control by more than 20 points. Now, the other issue here, of course, the configuration of the racetrack. Jan, you're funneling down into a very narrow turn 1.
It's on a city street. You approach at 150 miles an hour, the slowest corner anywhere on the Champ Car circuit at 25 miles an hour. Consider 2 lanes of traffic going down to 1, like a bunch of guys all late for work. We'll have to see if they give each other room.
Trying to get to the off-ramp. All right, let's get an update on the championship leader as we take a look at the qualifying times. First of all, though, everyone under a blanket, Jan.
Look at all those 49.1s in through here. That is as tight as I has ever seen it, and very interesting to me. Look at that time there for Sebastian Bourdais. You can see it's not as fast as the other drivers. He got that by a very good lap on Friday, but Cameron, it's been tough this weekend.
It definitely has been tough for Sebastian Bourdais and the whole Newman Haas Lanigan team. They felt like they haven't had the car they wanted, and Sebastian's been working tough with them. In early qualifying, he had 15 laps to give it a shot. In the very last lap, he nailed it. He got the magic lap. You'll remember we raced here for 2 years. He nailed the pole and he nailed the win both times. This time, though, the provisional was what held him on the front row. The second day of qualifying, he was nowhere at the top of the charts. Very frustrating for them. They say they have worked through a lot of things on the car. They're feeling much better about it, but it's still not perfect. Let's head over to Bill Stevens.
Well, Cameron, Justin Wilson came out on Friday hot as a pistol. He had one of the fastest cars all day long. In practice and qualifying, he looked like he was going to be the man to beat. And then on Saturday, it's like his car reversed polarity. It went slower all day long. He went off the track. He had brake bias issues. He was not happy with the car. His R Sports team made a lot of changes to the automobile, and voila, he gets his 6th career pole. Now, as the pole sitter, he gets to choose whether he wants the outside or the inside of row 1. He's chosen the outside. Why? He says there's more grip over there because it's on the racing line. And secondly, he's going to put Sebastian Bourdais on the inside, where he's going to confront some manhole covers going into the first turn. Let's go to Michelle Beisner.
Speedy Dan Clark is making his best start of the season, and though some may be surprised to see him starting 3rd, he certainly is not. You may recall last year when he started 9th and battled his way up to 2nd and ran there for a while until mechanical problems took him out of the race, and then he, of course, took it out on his Bridgestones. Well, he's sitting in a much better position today, and I asked him about it. He said, I like San Jose, I like this track, I feel good here, and jokingly he added, I've got 2 good feet to go with it.
Dan Clark in the second row, best qualifying effort of the season. 4 different onboard looks for you today, including we'll ride with Dan Clark in the Ticketmaster 4 car. He's got one of our visor cams. Graham Rahal in the Meta Zone 2. Will Power in the Aussie Vineyards machine, and Justin Wilson in the CDW9. We'll get some great looks as these cars funnel into turn number 1 today. Starting lineup top of your screen. One change here. Mario Dominguez driving for Ryan Dial today. Lights about to go out. Everyone away clean. Bourdais on the inside, Jan.
Manhole covers or not, Sebastian Bourdais got great drive and he's into the lead.
And that is not what Justin Wilson wanted to have happen.
Oh, look out.
3 wide momentarily. Some contact. Everybody gets through the first time. Trouble on the Dominguez car, and we've got Dornbos up on the back end of Jan Helen's machine.
Catherine Legge and Alex Figge stuck behind. It does appear as though Dornbos is dead in the water.
His front wing is on the back end of Helen's Conquest 34 car. So Dornbos, who was the championship leader after Toronto.
Let them get you started. Let's try and get caught up to the field, then we'll come in.
Michael Cannon on the radio.
And you can hear he's calm. He knows that if he can get him back to pit road without losing a lap. However, I doubt that they can get him restarted without him losing a lap. That would be the key.
No caution as yet. Now we'll go yellow. Full course caution as we complete lap number 1. Justin Wilson and Sebastian Bourdais, they're going to have to throw a rope here.
This is critical here, though. The cars are coming up to this corner right now. They're just about ready to go around this Toyota hairpin. If they can somehow get Dornbos started right now, he won't lose a lap. He'll have a shot.
Now look at this. Wilson on the backside of the track got around Bourdais, and Bourdais seems to have a problem. Bourdais stopped on the racetrack, it appears. At the exit of 1, the McDonald's number 1 has stopped. Now he gasses it. Must have slipped out of gear on him.
That is not something you would normally see. These cars typically don't slip out of gear. Wow, what a moment for Sebastian Bourdais.
Now, I was surprised. We were watching the car of Robert Dornbos here. Here's another look at the contact.
He's going as slow as he can. That's a case where he pretty much had to clutch it. The car came to a complete stop. Jan Helen did in front of him. You could see it lurching like he was, he's a left foot braker, so he doesn't have an extra foot to go for the clutch. But you could see Oriol Servia there in the white car, kicking it sideways.
He and Clark had gotten together, and there's the impact.
I just think it was a case where it was a complete stop, and he couldn't get to the clutch in time, and just the momentum of the engine, typically at idle, just rammed him into the back.
Well, while we were watching Robert Dornbos' problems, Sebastian Bourdais got passed by the pole sitter Justin Wilson. So at the moment, Wilson is the leader with 1 lap complete, but we're under yellow at Redback Raceway in San Jose. And we welcome you back to San Jose to Redback Raceway under caution and incident in turn 1. Robert Dornbos, Jan Helen getting together. Dornbos lost his front wing on the back of Helen's car. They have pulled that wing off the 34 car, the Conquest machine. Helen back on the racetrack. Dornbos, meantime, also back on the racetrack without losing a lap. The big story on, I think, Sebastian Bourdais had taken the lead going down into turn 1, got passed on the backside of the racetrack. He has lined up 8th on the restart. He stopped pretty much on the racetrack at the exit of 1.
And this is live. Is this Dan Clark just ran in the back?
Dan Clark's got a wing trapped under the nose of his car. Let's go back and see what happened here to Bourdais. He slipped way up and nearly clipped the wall. That's where he gave up the lead and lots of time. Getting ready for a restart. 3 laps complete. Clark, who started 3rd, had the nose wing ripped off the 4 car. So the Muirman's Ticketmaster machine with a very early stop.
He ran into the back of Justin Wilson just as we were going to that replay as they were coming up to the restart. That's what you want to do as the leader. You slow down and wow.
Bill Stevens, what's wrong with the car?
Oh, guys, it's just pandemonium down here in the Minardi pit. They just got through servicing Dornbos' car and putting a new nose on that, and moments later now they're having to do the same thing with Dan Clark. On Dornbos' car, they checked the suspension. They found there was nothing structurally wrong with it. They sent him away. They're hopeful that that's the same case with Dan's car.
Meantime, Justin Wilson in the CDW9's dead stick. He's out of power. He's on pit road with no power. Clark is down and away. He will not lose a lap. Wilson, the pole sitter.
That may have been a case where Justin Wilson wasn't just slowing down to come to the restart. It may have just stopped dead. And, of course, behind him, Dan Clark's getting ready to get spooled up for a restart and rams into the back of him. Unbelievable.
We'll have a look, see what we got there.
So Wilson's cars just quit on the racetrack. Still caution because of the contact between Clark and Wilson. And the Minardi team able to get Clark's car fixed with a new nose wing, but Wilson, meantime, They're in no hurry. They're going to have to pull the engine cover off and see what's going on in the CDW9. Planning to use the Bridgestone Red, so Bourdais got the lead, gave it up immediately. Here's another look.
Right there. Yep, something goes wrong with the car right as he's coming off of turn number 6. Dan Clark obviously not expecting him. Let's listen. Yeah. Wow.
Meantime, we're ready for a restart here at Redback Raceway. This was earlier, moments ago. Wilson's got damage to the right rear corner of the car. Lap number 6 now is where we are. We are underway, and Oriol Servia has taken advantage of all of this to vault to the lead in front of Neil Johnny there in the Red Bull blue car. How about Paul Tracy taking advantage? He's up to 3rd. Now, PT did not qualify well. They've struggled all weekend again in the Forsyth Index 3 car, but Tracy may be the headiest driver out here. He's 3rd in front of Graham Rahal. Bourdais shown 6th. Let's get on the Metazone 2 car and see if Rahal can move up.
What a change of fortune. Oriol Servia has got to be saying, woohoo, man, this is my day. What the heck is going on?
No rain clouds. That's what caught him out at Toronto. He led the first 32 or 33 laps in Toronto a few weeks ago in the Steelback Grand Prix up there. And Clark's hit something again. The nose wing's broken again on car number 4. Meantime, Bourdais getting past. He's got problems. One of the Team Australia cars going by the McDonald's machine.
And that is the one item we don't have explained yet. We certainly saw how Bourdais shifted wide and lost the lead, but then he had that where he almost came to a stop coming off of turn number 1. So definitely something wrong with the McDonald's car and Sebastian Bourdais.
Jan and Rick, I got to tell you guys, they did report in the McDonald's car that the car just shut off when he had that problem earlier, so I'm not sure what's happening now, but I can also report here on Justin Wilson a broken toe link and a half shaft. So they are working on the back of the car, and the team does report the car was running when Dan Clark hit them. We'll have to find out more information as it carries on.
Dan Clark, meantime, had tagged Catherine Legg there in turn number 1. We've got another look at that. Clark's back on pit road with another broken wing. He tried to sneak by his teammate Dornbos, but Catherine was right there.
Tried to make up for lost time after such a great qualifying effort. 2 nose wings down. And Cameron, that is very interesting report because that's the second car that we have heard from that just shut down. When is the last time you've had a race when a car shut down at all? And now you have 2 of them on the opening lap in slow speed corners just shut off because looks like Figge now in trouble.
Alex Figge, one of the PCM cars, Pacific Coast Motorsports, on the Bridgestone Reds. The alternate Potenza spins it, snaps it back in the right direction. He'll try to make pit road with a cut down right rear tire. So Alex Figge in trouble. Justin Wilson is done for the day, it appears. And we check back in on the leaders. The Forsyth Index cars, 1st and 3rd. Servia, Johnny for PKV Racing in the Red Bull Gulfstream entry. He's ahead in 2nd. We ride here with Graham Rahal, who is 4th. Now Rahal carrying the banner of Newman Haas Lanigan here today. An incredible first 8 laps in San Jose. Both front row starters with trouble. Bourdais had taken the championship lead with his 4th win last week at Edmonton. Qualified on the provisional pole Friday, lined up alongside Justin Wilson today. He's got problems. He's being shown 7th. We saw him get passed by Will Power a few moments ago. Power in the Aussie Vineyards 5 car. And there's Power. And followed by Bourdais.
Amazing turn of events. How cars just shutting off. I mean, we expected people to possibly have contact down in turn number 1. But cars just shutting off and getting rammed from behind, and all of a sudden Oriol Servia. I will say, though, Oriol Servia has been really happy with his car this weekend, and some other people will be concerned. Now he has clear road. He's been good.
There's the McDonald's machine of Bourdais. And Jan, when he slipped up high and let Wilson by there on lap 1, gave up the lead, ended the first lap 8th, I believe it was. We had seen him basically stall coming off turn 1. My first thought was it might have jumped out of gear. Now, these cars don't really do that. But I'm guessing he's got some sort of driveline problem.
Well, he said it was the report Cameron had from the pits, though, is that it just shut off.
Yeah.
And somehow, you know, he's a quick enough study to where he probably reached up there and recycled the ignition. That's one thing you can do. You can go to the ignition switch, recycle the ECU, as it's called, engine control unit. It's kind of like rebooting your computer, and I bet he got it running again.
Paul Tracy in the Forsyth Index 3 car from Canada. Races out of Las Vegas now, up to 3rd. Very difficult weekend. Here comes Johnny taking a look on Oriol Servia. There's Tracy, followed by Rahal. 5th belongs to Alex Tagliani. Johnny putting some pressure there on Servia. Jan, you've noted how they accordion up in that very slow turn 1.
that is a case where you're going 150 miles an hour, and let's say you're 0.2 of a second behind someone. At 150 miles an hour, you're going to have a pretty big gap. You get down to 25. They're naturally just going to close in on the distance, but they're pretty racy up here at the front because we had some caution early. The thing I like about this, Rick, is that these are all guys that after you always talk to in qualifying are complaining, I had a fast car, I just couldn't get it done in qualifying. Now they have track position. Let's see if they can bring it home.
Should be 3 stops today. Depends on the number of yellows. We'll update that for you a little later on. If you want more Champ Car action, as always, we invite you to subscribe to Race Director. The official series website is champcar.ws. You can pick from 6 different camera angles, live team radios, live telemetry, and more, all from your home computer. The website, champcar.ws. There's Neil Johnny in that blue Red Bull machine with the yellow nose, second for the PKV team, trying to reel in Oriol Servia. Servia's a guy, Jan, I think after Toronto, he felt like he had unfinished business. Got this ride partway through the season. He's done great things with the Forsyth Index 7. Johnny, meantime, starting to come on now and find his way in Champ Car.
It's a case where these are the kind of racetracks that he has really no experience on. These American style, as he calls them, racetracks, small little street circuits that are bumpy, and it takes a different driving technique that you're going to have on the big high-speed road courses. But I think really for the PKV team, for both he and Tristan Gomendy, they are starting to find a good setup now.
Down the front straightaway, heading toward the Toyota hairpin, Servia with that black and yellow helmet. There is Johnny, his rookie season in the Champ Car World Series in the Red Bull car. And there is Paul Tracy, the 2003 Series champion. Some telemetry here, show you how fast, or actually how slow these cars are. They have to be in turn 1. Bourdais seems to be okay now. He's cycling around in 7th. He let Bauer go by him, but he's been able to stick right there in the queue.
Well, that was one of the storylines of the opening of the show, that he had this fantastic qualifying lap that got him on the front row, but yet could not match it in yesterday's qualifying. We saw him slip high, so we know the handling's not too good, but the whole shutting off thing, that's the anomaly that we'll have to check more into, because that obviously was something similar, I would assume, happened to Wilson.
Leaders coming off the Redback corner onto the front straightaway. Here at Redback Raceway in San Jose, California. Third time we've been here for the Champ Car Grand Prix of San Jose. Great venue. City really embraces this event. It is a wonderful 3-day festival for the Champ Car World Series. Johnny on the Bridgestone Reds. Yeah, they made a little change in tire compound here. These are the softest reds that Bridgestone has brought to one of these events.
They are trying to get a little more difference between the red sidewall Bridgestone and the black. Of course, the idea is they want to get some people on red, some people on blacks to try and get some more passing opportunities. But yes, they felt as though, hey, let's take another step. Let's throw some high technology and see if we can get a bit more grip. Thing they don't know, with a brand new tire, how long will they last? Michelle?
Nasser, team owner of, something's happening right now. Jimmy, you guys had an interesting qualifying, finished dead last in qualifying on Friday, but you've turned it around and Johnny's running second.
Yeah, Neil's doing a good job, and Tristan did a good job too to jump up, but excuse me.
Catherine Legg in the wall. Heavy damage to the Dale Coyne Sonny's Barbecue 11 car. She's knocked the front end off that race car, and it looks as though her day may be finished. Catherine Legg on lap 15 was shown 14th on the lead lap, but her visor is up, and the car is hard in the wall here after turn 2. That was a good lick.
Turn number 2. Obviously, the car was pushing. It wouldn't turn. And they put the tires there in case you lose your brakes and you go perfectly straight, but she had already started to turn somewhat.
Hey, the points battle and the right to claim the Vanderbilt Cup heats up in a couple of weeks. We'll head to one of America's great road courses. The Champ Car World Series continues on ABC on Sunday, August 12th. 3 Eastern is the airtime for the Generac Grand Prix of Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. More information at ESPN.com. We'll look forward to being there with you in the Kettle Moraine area of Wisconsin. So Catherine Legg, the Homatro safety team on the scene to help her out of that race car. Servia, Johnny, and Tracy, the top 3. Can Rahal and Tagliani get into the mix? We'll see when we come back in San Jose. Welcome back live in San Jose on a beautiful day for Champ Car World Series racing. Working lap number 17 under caution, an incident involving Catherine Legg. Hard wreck into the turn 2 wall. The Homatro safety team has removed the car, and the lights are out on the Mazda RX-8 pace car. But the Homatro safety team truck still on the racetrack. So the field lining up for a restart. Oriol Servia will be the restart leader. Neil Johnny will be second in the Red Bull car. Paul Tracy, Graham Rahal, Alex Tagliani, and Will Power. Bourdais back in 7th. Here we go. Bridgestone running order, top of your screen, diving down into turn 1. That is Serbia. There's Johnny. Tracy next in line, followed by Rahal. Power starting to get up on the throttle and try to make a move from 6th. 60 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time available here, but this is such a tight racetrack. On 7 turns, 1.44 miles. Hard to get a full squirt of extra 50 horsepower here.
But he really had, Neil Johnny had a great drive coming off of turn number 5, but just lost the momentum in that transition left to right. But he's racing. There's no question. I mean, he lost that momentum because he got right up behind Serbia, but man, he's after it.
That's back in the Budweiser chicane. They come off the Redback corner to the front straightaway. Longest straightaway by far here at Redback Raceway.
And Neil Johnny came into this weekend suffering from strep throat. They loaded him with antibiotics to try to beat the bug, and as of this morning he was feeling much better, but he was almost scratched. If he was going to be seriously ill today in this heat, it certainly would have exacerbated his condition.
Oriol Servia taking advantage of all the surprises and the carnage in the first handful of laps. We had several different incidents in the first couple of turns. Pole sitter Justin Wilson looks like a motor failure in the CDW9 car. He is still behind the wall. And let's get an update on Wilson's situation. Cameron.
I'm with Phil Howard, who's on the radio for Justin Wilson. What happened? What was the incident?
We have no idea. Justin has no idea. Yes, but Dan just ran into the back of us. I mean, it's just... The CDW car's been going so well all weekend. The crew's done a great job. Justin's been really happy, and to have this happen is just crazy.
A tough one with the pole. What's the damage to the car?
We damaged the toe link bracket, and the drive shaft. It's a big job to put it back together, but we're going to do it and try and get at least the fastest lap out of this.
Right on, Phil. Thank you very much. A tough way to get going for the pole sitter, Justin Wilson.
Hey, Cameron, if you can do something for us when you're there with Phil Howard, if you can get a follow-up or just let us know. It certainly appeared as though Justin Wilson slowed or stopped or something caused Dan Clark. It looked like he just stopped. So I'd be interested to find out if there was, in fact, any kind of electrical or reason why Justin might have slowed.
Well, actually, Jan, I was just talking to him about the very same thing, and they said the car did not stall. They were under power when they were hit by Dan Clark, so they definitely didn't turn off.
Thanks, Cameron.
On board Will Power, the Aussie Vineyards 5 car, 2 wins this season, including at Toronto a couple of weeks ago in the Steelback Grand Prix, won the season opener, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Las Vegas. He is right now sitting in 6th, trying to work his way up on Alex Tagliani and hold off Sebastian Bourdais. Wow. A quick reminder, grab your mobile devices in just a couple of moments. You'll be able to participate and vote in our Mazda virtual pit stop, where you, the viewer, try to make the right call. It is a text opportunity for you to cast your ballot. Great look here in the Aussie Vineyards machine.
Well, you heard me say wow when we were riding on board with Power. The wow was about he was off power way before turn number 1, and you can hear it there again. That means big time fuel saving mode. Because we've had some caution today, look for now a 2-stop race instead of 3.
At least by some drivers, or will everybody go to that strategy?
Well, there's no question that Will Power, and if we stay with this, listen to him at the end of the straightaway, lift off early.
Take a look at our Plantronics telemetry.
You heard it again there. There's that whole section of coasting. He's lifting off of the throttle and coasting, and I'm sure he's got the call from the radio, from the pit, saying, okay, it's a 2-stop strategy, save all the fuel you can.
Oriol Servia continues to lead for the Forsyth Indyk team. Neil Johnny 2nd there in the Red Bull PKV Gulfstream entry, the 21 car. 3rd is Tracy, 4th is Rahal, 5th is Tagliani. Will Power being conservative now. We had a lot of laps of caution in the early going, and now you were thinking about 18 laps would be enough to make it a 2-stop race. There's the speed differential between Servia and Johnny hunting, I think, for a little more grip there on the front straightaway.
He's hunting for grip. He's hunting to get away from the bumps, but he also got a radio call that they want him to do 1.85 miles per gallon. That is fuel saving around here, considering they used a lot more than that in qualifying. So again, They have plenty of fuel on pit road. The reason they would get the call is they only want to have to stop twice instead of 3 times. Obviously, it's a huge advantage if you can make this race in 1 less pit stop.
And that's the big conversation Neil Mickelwright's been having with Paul Tracy as well, guys. I tell you, they've been talking about fuel conservation. They've gone back and forth on saying, we can't make the number, you can make the number. Right now, Neil just told them, push just a little bit more, but try to conserve the fuel. That's like a double-edged sword when you're talking to Paul Tracy.
We are in San Jose, California, Redback Raceway, the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of San Jose. I'm Rick Benjamin with Jan Beekes alongside. Coverage on ESPN2 on pit road for us. Bill Stevens, Cameron Steele, Michelle Beiser. It is terrific to have you here on a wonderful weekend for racing. Big weekend for sports. You've seen a lot on ESPN, ESPN2, ABC, the Arena League Championship. The San Jose SaberCats involved in that earlier. The Brickyard 400, tennis, and of course, Champ Car World Series racing. On board with the 2-car, Graham Rahal in the Metazone machine for Newman Haas Lanigan. He is up in 4th trying to track down Paul Tracy. Michelle Beiser.
Down here in the pits with Bobby Rahal, getting in some quality time watching Graham. What are your impressions of how well this fine young man has done so far this year?
Well, I'm very proud of him, and you know, it's he's definitely jumped into the deep end. But he's done a great job, I think. He's with a great team, and you know, I couldn't envision him within a better place, and he's learning rapidly. And I told him today, I said, hey, this race is there's going to be a lot of people making mistakes, and just be in a position to take advantage of it.
When you look back to your rookie year now, what's the one thing, the one memory that stands out?
Well, you got to remember, I was 10 years older than Graham was when I did my rookie year in Indy cars, and had a lot more experience. But you know, it's just a different world, especially these longer races. You really have to come to understand the ebbs and flows of the pace of the race and what goes on. And that's the difference between those who can win all the time and those who struggle with it. So it's he'll learn. It's going to take time.
All right, Bobby, thanks so much.
Well, if there's a 10-year difference, Bobby, I mean, consider that Graham is 18 years old, and he's running here putting pressure on Paul Tracy, the elder statesman in the series. He definitely is a quick study, but one of the things that his dad has told him is don't forget about having fun, because you can get really tight. This is one of the things that's hard on the street circuit. You get really nervous, you get really tight trying not to make mistakes. That's when you make them.
Well, Sebastian Bourdais, who was quick on Friday, is the championship leader. Back there in 7th, trying to reel in Will Power in the Aussie Vineyards machine, 2 of the title contenders. Bourdais had problems early on. Justin Wilson, they fixed the CDW 9 car. Wilson is back on the racetrack. He's lost 20 laps on pit road, but it's a long afternoon. We're barely started here. We've got an hour 17 to go. So Wilson's got an opportunity to make laps. I'm sure there'll be additional attrition here. And he is going to try hard to see maybe he can score a top 10 here. You never know. Lots of things can happen throughout the course of the afternoon. Champ Car World Series now has information available for you on the new iPhone. Site showcases the latest videos from the Champ Car World Series. Previews, recaps, interviews, short video capsules of the latest events and more. If you own an iPhone, go to the website, ccws2.com/i. Regular updates for you with the best from the Champ Car World Series on your iPhone. Watch as you are on the go. Oriol Servia's been on the go. Neil Johnny's been right with him. There were times, John, when I thought Johnny had the opportunity maybe to get by Servia. This is a tough place to pass.
But it's also a time when we know, because we've been monitoring the radios, that they're all saving fuel. Sometimes in order to overtake, you have to use more fuel, but they're all getting called from the pits, save, save, save. I've also been looking back through some of the logs of the radio transmissions, and I caught something on Sebastian Bourdais when he came off of that final corner. They were calling him about an electrical problem and telling him to turn off the fans, and he got it going again and called and said, everything's okay now. And they said, what happened? And the answer, at least from this log, was that I'll tell you later. When you go through turn number 1, you take your hands off the steering wheel. You have to re-grip and get a whole big fistful of steering wheel. I wonder if when you grab a big fistful of steering wheel, he might have somehow hit the ignition.
Well, we were watching earlier, a lot of these drivers are one-handing it through turn 1 to get enough lock on the wheel, to get the wheel to turn far enough, because you are turning 180 degrees in a very short area. Under the Aruba Networks bridge to the Redback corner, and back onto the front straightaway here at San Jose. Packed house here for the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of San Jose. Community really embraced embraces this event, and it is a treat for us to be here as well. Serbia the leader, Johnny second, Tracy, Rahal, and Tagliani in the battle for third, getting tight. Race pace about 51.5 seconds, a little quicker than we were expecting coming in here today, but it's been a great battle so far. Bourdais stuck back there for now in 7th. We're getting closer to what we expected would be the first pit stops of the day. And that'll be an opportunity for us to see who will be playing, what sort of fuel game, what sort of pit stop strategy to try to jump the queue, get to the head of the line for the next segment of Green Flag Racing. On board Rahal here in the MetaZone machine. Hey, 14-time funny car champ John Force has made quite a charge. He's trying to make the NHRA's countdown to the championship. 3 races remain in the NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series before the countdown starts. Coverage of the NHRA's Fram Autolite National Finals just up the road at Infineon Raceway. It's tonight at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. More at ESPN.com. Working on lap number 30, Oriol Serbia cashing in big. There's a pass by Tagliani. Tagliani moves into 4th. We'll see if he can continue his climb toward the front when we continue from San Jose. A great year attendance-wise in the Champ Car World Series. The World Series honoring its millionth fan of 2007 this weekend by honoring a couple of unsuspecting fans. Storm Vanderzee and the Walsh family fitted to an all-access behind-the-scenes look at Champ Car during the San Jose Grand Prix presented by Redback Networks. 3-day passes, a ride in the pace car, lunch with Will Power and the rest of Team Australia. For the lead, meantime, how about Neil Johnny? He's on the button.
He's on the power to pass. Here he goes.
Into 1. Serbia gives him room, and Johnny takes over. Neil Johnny, we knew he was sizing up Serbia, Jan. I'm surprised, though, from what we've seen from Johnny this season, he would have gone for it this early in the race.
Well, he had the opportunity. He started to close in on Serbia. Again, there is a race behind a race happening right now. They're hearing from the pits. Some people are saving fuel. Some people have to save more. And for whatever reason, they've turned Johnny loose, but they have told Serbia that he has to conserve. Johnny gets on the power to pass, that extra 50 horsepower, a little more boost, a little more RPM, and blows by him on the straightaway. That was awesome.
Now you get 60 seconds of extra 50 horsepower. It comes in bursts, as you call it, a length. Now here at San Jose, what's the burst time?
The burst time here is the entire length of the front straightaway. So it's a case where you burn quite a bit more than what we had at the previous race in Edmonton.
So Johnny's used up 19 seconds already. Now let's talk fuel windows and when we might see pit stops.
Now this is the green window. So we actually had a caution at lap 16, and it was interesting that they didn't take advantage of this window here. They decided, nope, I'm not going to do it because this is obviously a 3-stop strategy. Now it has turned into a 2-stop strategy because those windows will shift. You're going to have to go probably another 5 laps to get into a 2-stop window.
34 complete. This will be lap 35. It's only 1.44 miles around here. Serbia second now in front of his teammate Tracy. Now Tagliani is up to 4th, and that sets up quite an interesting dynamic as we see the Walmart 8 car of Tagliani starting to close in. Odd Paul Tracy was here a year ago where those two drivers engaged in maybe the most memorable Champ Car moment of 2006 when they tangled here at the end of the backstretch. Led to that shoving match behind pit wall, and now they've kissed and made up, so to speak. They've certainly been getting along fine this year. There's been no carryover. It was quite a moment here in San Jose last year. Tagliani now 4th after starting 7th, falling back to 8th, and all the scrambling that went on the first couple of laps. But Tag doing a great job in that car for our sport. Moving up behind Tracy, just a couple of car lengths back at this corner, the blue coat corner that dumps you onto the final short straightaway, turn 7, and then the main straightaway. Blue coat corner, turn 6, here at Redback Raceway in San Jose.
Of course, that incident between Paul Tracy and Alex Tagliani had nothing to do with racing for position. It had everything to do with Paul Tracy going down the escape road and mistiming the exit and spearing Alex Tagliani. One of the more unique things that we have seen on the circuit. But now this is a true fight. Alex Tagliani, of course, being the teammate to Justin Wilson, who's had pretty much the car of the weekend, and they share setup. So we would expect Tagliani to be quick.
And guys, Tagliani's crew, I was talking to him just before the race, they said this is the best car we've had to go racing with all year so far. And the one thing that he said was really key is sometimes we come out with a great car on Friday, but we don't follow with the pack on a Saturday, and we start to miss the setup. This time, we've nailed it all the way through. Alex has been really happy, and they say they have a car to go racing to the front.
Watching Sebastian Bourdais, quickest on Friday, lined up alongside Wilson. Had problems on the first lap. Wilson got by. Watching Rahal.
That was Kenny Seawick asking Sebastian Bourdais, do you want to stay on the Bridgestone alternates? We couldn't hear his response, but it's a driver's choice as to what this weekend. I will say that Sebastian, that was his answer. I'm not sure what it was, but it was like,
Now, 37 laps are complete. Who decides to come to pit road early, make that first stop, and try to play that fuel game?
but you don't want to come early. See, you want to come as late as possible. That's why they're radioing everybody to save fuel, because...
Oh, here comes the first car. That's Tracy. No, that is Tracy in car number 3.
Concentrate on your marks. We are the first car to stop, so when you leave, we've got to use push to pass and everything. Okay, as you go down the marks, everything is going smooth.
New Bridgestone's going on.
What Neil is trying to coach Paul Tracy in that they went and used more fuel. They're the first car on pit road. The only way to try to make up that difference is right now they're going, Paul, use the power to pass. Do it like qualifying laps. Make up the distance, because while you're on it, other people will be pitting. Typically, that's a bad move. Paul Tracy should fall back in the order unless he has like a brilliant couple of outlaps.
Because now he's got a full fuel load. That's a heavier race car than what everybody else is driving.
Yes, these guys have hot tires, nice light cars. Definitely not an advantage to stop early unless you can get on an alternate strategy. But if everybody's going to stop twice, doesn't do you any good.
Tracy on the Bridgestone alternates, the soft red Potenzas. Here comes Tristan Gomendy. Jan Halen is in as well. Bill Stevens.
Gomendy is into the pit. PKV is using a split fuel strategy. Gomendy is trying to conserve fuel, but they've given Neil Johnny the green light to stay out front, and they haven't even given him a countdown on what his fuel mileage is right now. They'll update him later, but right now they want him to hold the lead as much as he can.
Gomendy playing hurt, of course. He's got those cracked ribs, that spinal injury. They padded up the seat for him. He was very sore when I talked to him Friday after the first round of practice, but he's out there right now. Gomendy was in the top 10. He was up as high as 8th. Cycles back to 11th after that first pit stop. And Johnny stays out. He's on those Bridgestone Reds. Interesting tire strategy too, Jan. They put Tracy on another set of Bridgestone Reds. They put Gomendy on a set of blacks.
And Paul Tracy's usually the guy who hates reds.
Yeah.
So maybe he wants to get them out of the way now and run the blacks. But again, this is a new red sidewall Bridgestone, and maybe that happens to suit Forsyth Championship Racing setup.
Tagliani moves up to 3rd now with Tracy's stop. There's Johnny. First laps led in his Champ Car World Series career in the Red Bull Gulfstream PKV car. Bruno Junqueira bringing the Dale Coyne Sonny's Barbecue 19 to pit road. Bruno was up in the top 10, now shown 11th.
He went for blacks, and I believe that I saw Ray Hall's team, they had black sidewall tires out.
10-4, okay. Open box behind you. Use Tristan's box getting in. Need you right on your marks, buddy. Right on your marks. Nice and easy. Right on your marks.
Bill Stevens is there.
Johnny is coming in. This has got to be a perfect pit stop for this team. The optional tires come off. They have scuffed Bridgestone Potenzas going back on, and watch how long it takes as they fill that car completely to the top, and now he's away.
Check the relationship to Paul Tracy, Servia, who pitted right ahead of him, Graham Rahal.
Okay, watch Sammy. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold
Cameron.
it, hold it. Go, go.
Oh, and he stalled the car. You can hear John Tzanikis, TZ, telling him to hold the car, hold the car. They were trying to get a complete full load of fuel. They're getting the thumbs up. They're trying to spool the car up. So they're trying to get the starter in the back. They're rocking it back and forth, and Graham is waving with his hand, asking, and there we go. They got the car live. He is away.
And Cameron, the reason for the delay is you cannot start the car if it's in gear. He had dropped it into gear, then it stalled it. Here comes Power and Bourdais. Everyone so far in the same sequence.
They've got Bridgestone blacks up for Bourdais.
Know what to do. Solid stop here, guys. Help him out.
Championship leader, Cameron, headed your way.
And you can hear Kenny Seawick talking him in on the radio. We saw the problems that Graham Rahal, his teammate, had. Right now, seemingly a flawless pit. No changes to the car, the team is reporting. And he's away clean, so a solid pit stop for the Newman Haas Lanigan.
But Power got out first as we see one of the Forsyth cars going by. That's Tracy, I believe. Power got off pit road first, John.
But he was ahead of I mean, he was ahead of Sebastian going in, so that was not a position change. Justin Wilson in the background, of course, just out now trying to get fastest lap.
Biggest point I wanted to make, though, look who's at the head of the line. Alex Tagliani. Are they able to get better mileage? He's out for an extra lap.
Well, he pitted ahead of he came in at the same time as Sebastian. While we were watching Sebastian, I saw ahead that Alex Tagliani, so he did one more lap than did Oriol Servia, but he pitted on the same lap, I believe, as did Sebastian. There he is.
Alex Tagliani there in the Walmart car. He's got Jan Heylen right behind him. Now, Heylen not in the hunt at the moment. He's 11th. Tagliani after the stop. You're exactly right. Tagliani did come to pit road in that sequence, now cycling back down through the scoring line. So let's reset for you. Robert Dornbos finds himself at the head of the line right now with Mario Dominguez and Neil Johnny.
Now let me explain. When Tagliani came in, his pits are past the start-finish line. They have the transponder that runs across the track and the pits. So because he is passed, he would have actually crossed in the lead, made his pit stop. So on the scoring for one lap, it shows him as the leader until he gets back underway.
Dornbos and Mario Dominguez at the top of the list right now, but they stop back on lap 16. Championship battle in Champ Car and the Vanderbilt Cup. The battle heats up as we head to one of the great road courses in the world. On ABC, the Champ Car World Series in 2 weeks, Sunday, August 12th, 3 Eastern, the Generac Grand Prix of Road America. In Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, you can find out more at ESPN.com. Robert Dornbos made an early stop because of contact. He was the points leader a couple of weeks ago. He's out front now. We'll see if he can keep the lead when we come back in San Jose. We welcome you back to Redback Raceway in San Jose, California. Look who's up front. It's Robert Dornbos. Bobby D, we christened him several weeks ago. He is out in front after an early stop. Time now for the Mazda Virtual Pit Stop, where you try to make the right call. Our question today, a great one. Who would you like to least see in your mirrors at San Jose? Use your mobile phone. Text A for Paul Tracy, B for Dan Clark, C for Alex Tagliani. The text number 55333. Each text vote costs you 50 cents. The results for you a little later in our broadcast today here from San Jose.
And I have a feeling that Dan Clark already has one vote. Text messaging from Justin Wilson.
Probably so.
Justin Wilson does not want to see Dan Clark in his mirrors anytime soon. And boy, that was unfortunate. It sure looked like his car shut off.
Yeah.
And Dan Clark had nowhere to go.
Clark is out, as is Catherine Legg. Mario Dominguez on pit road driving for PCM Pacific Coast today. Broken toe link in the 28 car, relieving Ryan Diallo, who had a great run at Edmonton last week and then broke his collarbone training on a mountain bike earlier this week. Neil Johnny leading his first Champ Car World Series laps after the round of pit stops. First round of stops of the day, up to second. Oriol Servia cycling back to third in front of Paul Tracy. There is Servia in the Forsyth Index car number 7. Leader is Dornbos by 18 seconds. But Dornbos stopped on lap 16, so he's really out of sequence in terms of pit stops.
The only way this would work for Robert Dornbos is if he can get to his next pit stop, come into the pits, and then right after that there were a caution. That is about the only thing that would help. He's way off a sequence in what may turn into a 2-stop race. But look at Paul Tracy. We talked about the fact that he came in earlier, which normally signals that you're in trouble. And we heard from Neil Mickelwright coaching him saying, go, 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 use the power to pass. He obviously did an awesome job because he's holding down 4th spot.
Well, Tracy has used power to pass. He's only got 23 seconds left in the bank. And when you hit the button here, it's 12 seconds?
It's 12 seconds because that's the length of the longest straightaway. So now, that's the maximum. You can press it partially down the straightaway or you can lift off the throttle and disengage it, but the most you can get in one shot is 12 seconds.
After all of that on pit road, what of Sebastian Bourdais? Well, he's right behind Will Power still. He's in front of Power's teammate, the rookie Simon Pagenaud, a protege of sorts of Bourdais. They're running 5th, 6th, and 7th now. Remember that Bourdais had that problem, slipped up the racetrack, opened the door for Wilson on lap 1, nearly hit the wall. Then he had another problem, thinking that perhaps the motor shut off exiting turn 1. He was as far back as 8th. They've worked him up to 6th, and we could hear Kenny Seawick on the radio as Bourdais came to pit road the first time. Let's help him out, guys. Let's bust off a good stop and get him out of here. They didn't lose any ground, but they didn't really gain much ground either in the first cycle of stops.
It's a case right now where it's protecting your positions and you're looking for something where you can gain an advantage. So we watch some of the numbers coming through for Will Power. This is definitely a slower pace through some of those sections, and those are normally right there, turn 2 and turn 3. In qualifying, you use 2nd gear. When you're saving fuel, you use 3rd.
On board the Aussie Vineyards 5 of Power, looking back at Bourdais. Power with 2 wins, Bourdais with 4 in the 2007 Champ Car World Series season. Bourdais righted the ship for the McDonald's team last week with that dominant win at Edmonton. Power had won the previous round at Toronto, the Steelback Grand Prix.
Wow.
There's Tristan Gomandy.
Yeah, Gogo Gomandy is on the gas here. Again, we've talked about the fact that physically he's in bad shape, but on the track he's flying. He is obviously gritting through the pain and pushing hard with some fast times. See, of course, his teammates, Daniil Johnny, who is not our leader on the racetrack, but essentially is our leader if you take the pit sequence out of it.
Johnny running second.
If you go back to Friday, you'll remember that after the first practice session, both of those PKV cars were dead last on the sheet. And team owner Kevin Kalkoven took the team aside and gave him a little pep talk. And ever since then, they have been spiraling upward in the performance department. Certainly evident here today.
Coming down the short straightaway toward Redback Corner under the Aruba Networks Bridge here at San Jose. There's Gomandy in the pay-by-touch 22 car. Playing hurt again this weekend. They've padded up the seat for him. Remember, he did not get to run at Edmonton. Mario Dominguez drove the car at Edmonton. They had a motor problem. Dominguez exited and a move to the inside. Power taking a look on Bourdais. Pagenaud, rather, on the inside. Pagenaud taking a look at 6th position there, but had to back out of it. Bourdais into turn 2. Continues to run 6th. Power is 5th. Michelle.
Derek Walker, team owner of Team Australia. Obviously a crazy start to this race, and it affected everyone's strategy. What strategy are you guys on now to get to the leaderboard?
Well, we're trying to save as much fuel for a little while and then turn him loose. So we're just about in that zone where we're ready to crank it up.
And what Derek is talking about, thanks Michelle, is that they don't want to save fuel, obviously, for the entire race. They want to pick their moments. And I would say that this particular group, maybe less Gogo Gomandy, the way he just closed in so quickly, is that he may not be on that same strategy. But at some point, you save fuel so that you can then turn them loose later.
Bill Stevens.
Here's Robert Donbos coming in. As you guys mentioned in the booth, they are going to have a little bit of some skullduggery on their fuel mileage if they're going to be able to maintain their position, as that extra pit stop may have sunk their ship for a win today.
Yeah, and
Donbos
Bill
was the leader.
And Bill, what I'm talking about now is that once he gets out and gets cycling around, if we had a caution period, that's now what Dornbos is looking for. You want to make your pit stop and then almost immediately have a caution when other people would want to pit.
And something else, John, another thing he's going to have to do is keep the car off of the wall and other cars. They don't have any more nose pieces. In fact, right now the team is back in the paddock putting a new one together in case they need it.
There is Dornbos in the Osjet 14 car. Good run for them after struggling early. Remember, he knocked the nose of the car off on the back of Jan Helen's car in turn 1, lap 1.
Now, one of those noses complete is $16,000, which sounds like a lot of dough, but considering the previous car, it was $33,000. So they've actually, with this new Champ car, the GP01, they've cut it in half. So I guess you can knock off 2 noses for every one that you used to on the Lola.
Wonder if they take discount coupons with the Haas transporter there. The 2-Team Australia cars bracketing the points leader, Sebastian Bourdais, who runs in 6th. Cameron.
I'm here with Craig Hampson, the engineer for Sebastian Bourdais. Uncharacteristic where you guys are running, Craig. Are you guys having problems? What's going on?
Well, on the very first lap under yellow there, he just radioed in. He said the motor just shut off, and we dropped from, I guess it was 1st at the time, back to 8th or 9th. And, you know, that's that. You can't really pass here. So we've just been kind of running around behind Will Power all day. Will did take us on the restart, much to his credit. But, yeah, we're just stuck.
I know you guys have had a bit of a tough weekend, not having the car exactly the way you wanted it. Is Sebastian happy right now?
Yeah, he hasn't complained at all about the car. He said it was pretty good, but yeah, it's been a real uphill battle for us. We got a little behind. We had some trouble with the brake system and then just never really worked with the car. So we're kind of running around on the baseline setup and just got what we got at this point.
All right, Craig, thank you very much. We'll see how it pans out for the Newman Haas Lanigan team.
It's nice, certainly, to see that they certainly have respect between Will Power and Sebastian Bourdais, even with the team saying that that was a well-earned position as Will Power forced his way through.
Hey, if you want more Champ Car race action from San Jose and the balance of the season, log on to the series website, champcar.ws, and subscribe to Race Director. You'll get 6 different camera angles, team radios, live telemetry, and more, all available at your home computer. Again, the website, champcar.ws. I'm Rick Benjamin. Jan Beekes is alongside. Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner on pit road. We are in San Jose at Redback Raceway for the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of San Jose. It's been a very interesting day. Now with Robert Dornbos off on a different pit stop sequence, Neil Johnny has returned to the lead by a second over Oriol Servia. Dornbos being shown third right now as we watch Jan Heylen. Hurricane Jan Heylen, we're starting to call him. He's up to ninth. Had that early contact with Robert Dornbos. Graphiprint on board along with the Grand Prix, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Belgium coming up in August and September. A two-race European swing. Heylen being backed by those events here. Heylen really starting to show, Jan. He didn't run the first couple of races with the Conquest team. Got in the car with very little testing, but they have started to get it going here for Eric Bachelard's team.
They have, and when you miss the beginning of a season and you don't really do the testing, that is a really big disadvantage. But the fact that he has been able, he only had 2.5 days of testing before he joined at Portland, and the fact that they've made this as a one-car team. They only have data for one car. Almost everyone here, everyone else actually has two cars at least to pull data from. That's a great job.
Up to ninth now in the 34 car. Hurricane Jan Heylen off the Redback corner and onto the front straightaway. You're at Redback Raceway. There is Bourdais, followed by Pagenaud. Gomendy, very impressed with Gomendy in the pay-by-touch 22. Right behind him is Heylen in ninth. Ran 10th at Edmonton last week. That was his best run of the season. Now Bruno Junqueira here is 10th in the Sonny's Barbecue 19 car, the red and white machine, Dale Coyne's team. Graham Rahal stalled the Metazone car on pit road. Took him a couple of seconds. That bumped him all the way back to 11th.
And you saw him go one-handed through turn number 1 there, and that's what we suspected might have happened to Sebastian. It's one of the few places on the circuit you can kind of get through with two hands at Long Beach, but here you definitely take one off, give it the big palm job, whip it over, and then hope you gather it up on the other end.
Now, if you choose, you said there are 5 different steering ratios you can pick in these cars. Can you pick one that allows you to two-hand it around a corner as you normally would, or are they all too slow?
They have a choice to use one that you could pretty much do keeping both hands on the wheel, but it's really aggressive. And a lot of drivers have found that the full speed rack and pinion on this Panos is a case where it's really too positive. So here you go, hand off, whip it around, barely hanging on with a couple fingers, then regrip.
In a couple of weeks, we go to Elkhart Lake, one of the great road courses in North America, the Points Battle, and of course the Vanderbilt Cup Chase as we head to the Generac Grand Prix of Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It's in 2 weeks, Sunday, August the 12th at 3 Eastern on ABC Sports. More information at ESPN.com. Hope you can be with us in 2 weeks at Elkhart. Well, Neil Johnny has cycled back to the head of the class in front of Servia. Dornbos with a great run to get to third. There's Tracy in the hunt. Powers fifth. We'll see if Tracy can climb back up in the standings when we come back. In San Jose, the Champ Car World Series, Neil Johnny under attack here. Servia trying to squeak by and grab the lead, and he's got it. Can Johnny put the slide job on him?
I think he hit the wall.
Neil Johnny back at it and gets the lead back from Servia. That's the risk you run when you dive bomb, Jan.
Wow.
Neil Johnny letting Servia through on the inside down into that very tight hairpin at the end of the front straightaway, the Toyota hairpin. And Johnny came right back.
And that was smart by Johnny, because Johnny's, bred and run on European circuits to where you move over and you block, but they have put that white line down into turn number 1 that you cannot cross. He actually used it to his advantage. Uh-oh, he's slow. He's slow coming out that corner. And there's power to pass. The flashing light on the back of Servia. Here he comes again.
Servia wants the lead. Dornbos lurking back there. Dornbos is a player. Here comes Servia one more time. Heading to the Toyota hairpin.
Now this time he's got to get it slowed down.
Johnny trying to drive around him on the high side.
Oh, this is awesome. And look at Dornbos coming up from third.
Wasn't it Craig Hampson who said a moment ago you can't pass here? Servia's just done it again, and he's taken the lead back. 65 laps on the board, 43 minutes to go. Oriol Servia starting to drive away. Now the question, Jan, is when did they stop? They both stopped on lap 41, so they're in the same pit stop sequence.
But it's a case of when do your pits tell you that you can cut it loose? And in fact, we believe Paul Tracy's got the call to cut it loose. And look at Dornbos.
Bobby D is flying here.
Well, we know that he is because he pitted later, so Michael Cannon's going to have the opportunity to call him. They don't have to save fuel. He can go for it now.
That's right. In fact, John, I just spoke to Michael Cannon. He said, this is the happiest I've been all weekend. He says that with their fuel strategy and the way that Robert is being able to get around here with that race car, everything seems to be coming their way right now.
And I had talked about the fact that because he pitted then, he would be looking for yellow. But what we didn't realize was the time that he was leading, he was on the button, and he pulled out about 22 seconds of a lead. So therefore, he's dropped back into sequence. He doesn't even need a yellow now. He only has to make one more stop, as do the two guys ahead of him. But because he stopped later, he doesn't need to save fuel. He can go for it.
And he would get a lighter load of fuel.
Yeah, he could,
closer to the end.
And he could stop later, be on pit road, less time, and it's all going his way.
Paul Tracy back there in fourth, also stopped a little bit earlier on lap 38. So PT at fourth, maybe with a shot. Here's what happened to Dornbos back in the first couple of laps.
He's at the back, just waiting, just can't get his foot on the clutch. The car just drives him into the back, takes his rear wing off, sticks it on the back of Jan Heelan's car. You know, same thing happened in a similar fashion in Toronto.
Yeah.
He stalled on the standing start. They had to come out and tow him, and he finishes sixth there. So he might as well just, he just might as well start from the pits.
Well, in this case, if you remember, he had to get a rope tow around from the whole Matro safety team as well. Come back to pit road, fix the car, and send him back out. It's amazing to me he didn't lose a lap. I mean, it was great pit work there by Michael Cannon and the Minardi USA boys.
And let's not forget what happened to him in final qualifying yesterday, guys. That car would not even go into gear. And when they finally got the car moving again, they had no time to fix their setup, hence such a lousy grid position today.
And Bill, you hear everyone up and down pit road to say, you know, the San Jose race, it's all about qualifying. It has everything to do with where you're on the grid and how you get through the first turn. Well, so much for that.
Exactly.
Neil Johnny in second in the PKV car. That's the Red Bull Gulfstream entry, the 21, 1.3 seconds behind Serbia, who just bonsai'd his way by Johnny a few laps ago. And Oriol Serbia, who's got one career Champ Car World Series victory a couple of years ago when he drove the 2 car for Newman Haas Lanigan. Maybe on his way today. We'll see, Michelle.
Mark Johnson, it seems as though earlier this season, Neil had some problems with conserving fuel, but he seems to be getting better at that. How is the fuel conservation now, and do you guys have a car that we're going to see on the podium?
I think we can be there. The Red Bull Gulfstream guys are doing a great job. Neil's been working really hard on his fuel economy the last few weeks. Realized it was a shortfall early on in the year. I don't have that problem in Europe racing, but he realized it was a shortfall. He's been working hard on it, and we hope we keep getting better. And yeah, I think we can be on the podium if the cards fall our way.
And when Mark was talking about coming from Europe and doing that, in fact, he told me at the first race when I was introducing myself, he said, you know, this is completely foreign to me. I have never, ever saved fuel in a race car ever in my career.
Yeah. It is a foreign concept. Drivers have to get their arms. Oh, Gomendy trying to dive bomb Halen down in turn 1. Gomendy going for 8th spot there. Halen able to close the door in the 34 car. Graham Rahal back there a little further. He's gotten himself up to 10th. Got around Bruno Junqueira in the Metazone 2 car. Let's get on board with the 18-year-old.
You'll be able to tell at the end of this straightaway if he's been given the green light. Oh, no, I think he's still on fuel-saving mode, so he can't be that aggressive. That's why he's riding back here at the moment. Again, I can tell that by where he lifts off the throttle. There's a bit of a coast between throttle and brake. Again, you can hear it again there.
Hey, Jan, one thing I want to let you guys know about fuel conservation is that Oriol Serbia has been hitting his numbers perfectly. Even though we saw him go for the pass, they're still trying to reel him back just a bit. But conversely, his teammate Paul Tracy has been given the go-ahead. They say, Paul, you're not hitting the numbers, you're not getting close. And Neil Mickelwright said, just go, go, go. So Paul is on the gas.
So I would assume, Cameron, what you mean by that is he won't make it in one more stop, so just stand on it.
Hey, the Champ Car World Series is available to you now if you're the proud owner of one of the new Apple iPhones. New website showcasing the latest videos of the Champ Car World Series. Previews, race recaps, driver interviews, short video capsules, and more. If you have an iPhone, go to the website ccws2.com/i. They'll update the site regularly with the best from Champ Car. You can watch on the go on your iPhone. Talk about on the go. Will Power's on the go in the Aussie Vineyards 5 car. He is 5th right now, one of the 3 championship contenders. A couple of wins on the season, his 2nd year in Champ Car. That's Bourdais back there in 6th. Closing in turn 1, the Toyota hairpin. Simone Pagenaud is the next car in line. The other car for Team Australia, the Aussie Vineyards bunch. The 15, he's back there in 7th. Race leader is Oriol Servia. 14-time funny car champ John Force has made quite the charge, trying to make the NHRA's countdown to the championship. There's 3 races to go before the cutoff. See if John Force can make it. He'll take a step. He hopes toward that tonight. The NHRA's Framingham Lake Nationals from Infineon Raceway just up the road here. Coverage at 8 Eastern tonight on ESPN2. More information from the website ESPN.com. Neil Johnny, Robert Dornbos, Paul Tracy, all with aspirations of winning here in San Jose. San Jose Race Week back on Thursday. One of the team owners of PKB Racing and one of the series principals, Kevin Kalkoven, hosting Champ Car's drivers. The entire Champ Car family at their beautiful home, Kalkoven's beautiful home here in the San Jose area. Members of the Atlantic Championship Series as well. And Paul Tracy's in trouble on the racetrack. It was a great night at Kevin Kalkoven's beautiful home here in the Silicon Valley. Looks as though PT is out of power. He's got the visor up. He's coasting down the short straightaway.
But Cameron Steele had told us during the break that he was due for a pit stop, so we may assume from that that he's run low or out of fuel.
Tracy being given the word by Neil Mickelwright to go for it, to gas it up and try to get to the front. And it looks as though they stretched it just a little too far. So the thrill from West Hill has brought out a full course caution with 34 minutes of racing to go here at Redback Raceway in San Jose, California. Doesn't look as though he'll be able to coast around to his pit stall. Looks like the Homatro safety team will need to come and get PT, and that will end his chances of victory here today. Let's take a look at our Mazdas in Motion recap. The Champ Car Atlantic Championship powered by Mazda earlier today. The 11th race in 2007. Championship on the line for Rafael Matos there in the red 6 car. Matos needed to keep Frank Pereira, his only main challenger in sight. Jonathan Bomarito was on the pole in that blue 23 car for Miracle Sealants. He would win today. James Hinchcliffe and the other Sierra car had problems. For third, Robert Wickens gets by Matos. Matos ends up clinching the championship with a 4th place finish. Bomarito wins the race. Championship runner-up Frank Pereira came home 2nd. Matos, by finishing 4th, locked up the title and the $2 million prize that should earn him a shot at the Champ Car World Series next season. Bill Stevens.
Down here in Robert Dornbos' pit as Paul Tracy's car slowly being pushed past here. Paul Tracy, of course, had a very tough time this weekend. It looked for a while as if he was going to be a player, but now it appears the day is over for him.
So Tracy with the visor up. They are coming to get him, the Forsyth Index team, to bring the 3-car back. They'll try to see if it's just a matter of needing fuel, get him back in business here. But now Jan with a caution. 33 minutes of racing to go. Full course yellow. This scrambles everything again.
But what it does is if you pit now, you make it to the end without an issue. So whoever was on whatever strategy now, we just have the great equalizer in that if you do pit now, which I would expect everybody to pit so you can make it home with that much fuel.
Safety cars out with the lights flashing. We could see tires up on the wall and laid out on pit road for just about everybody. Servia, Johnny, Dornbos, Power, and Bourdais, the top 5. One car stays out. Jan Halen had just stopped, so he'll stay out.
So around that guy standing there and a clean shot in.
Here comes Servia.
Okay, right under John's hand.
There you see Power and Pagenaud. Here comes Bourdais, Graham Rahal, and Alex Tagliani.
And the drag for our leader is that Paul Tracy is pitted ahead of him, and he's going to have to swing around him. No, Paul Tracy gets out of the way before Servia gets underway. Servia out well ahead of Bourdais.
Bridgestone Blacks and a full load of fuel for Bourdais. Gets out in front of Rahal. Here comes Tagliani and Junqueira. Full course yellow. We should be able to go green quickly because Tracy did get pushed onto pit road. They were able to get him refired. But PT has lost a lap, and he'll line up 12th now on the restart. Now, Halen, does Halen come up smelling like a rose here?
He does, but why didn't Tristan Gomendy pit? He pitted last on lap 39. That must have been a radio issue of some type.
Halen had just left pit road. Jan, you've referenced this previously to us. I don't think we've seen this scenario in quite a while. He pits under green, then we get a caution. Everybody else has to stop behind Halen. We've had a lot of incidents here today. Take a look at this. Power tagged Alex Figge coming onto pit road a moment ago.
Alex Figge is in the very first pit stall, and of course, Will Power is farther down.
And did the safety car just wave Halen around? And Gomendy? Perhaps Halen wasn't on the lead lap and he wasn't able to stop them.
Well, he was
Here
shown
comes
on the
Gomady.
lead lap, but yes, that would make sense. But certainly on scoring, they showed him. But again, he would be at the tail end of the lead lap in that particular case, and that would be why Tristan Gomady didn't pit, because you want to get passed by first and then hit pit road.
Cameron Steele.
Well, Sebastian Bourdais came in for what was going to be just a standard normal pit stop, and it turned out to have a hitchhiker. I think this is Simone Pagenaud's wing that was tangled up in the back of Sebastian's car. I asked the crew here at Newman Haas Lanigan if they had any damage. They said they did not, but they were sure surprised when they saw the car come in, back tire smoking, and this wing wedged in the back.
Well, that's the second time we've seen that today. Let's see what happened here. That was
a hard hit.
Yeah, well, we saw power get in the back of Vicky, and then you've got the little bit of train wreck happening behind you, which you see on the interstate. We were all thinking that was going to happen in turn number 1. Here it happened in the pits.
Now, let's reset for you. 78 laps complete, just inside 30 minutes to go, so maybe 32, 33 laps left of racing, depending on cautions here. Robert Dornbos cycles to the head of the class. Johnny is second. Servia. Now, Gomady's shown fourth, even though he stopped a lap later. Power, Bourdais, Rahal. Then Tagliani and Junqueira, Simone Pagenaud 10th. Dornbos, after stopping on the racetrack and having to get towed in, could be in the catbird seat here because everybody stopped, as Jan pointed out. Now everybody is on the same pit stop sequence. Take a quick time out. Redback Networks presenting the San Jose Grand Prix. We'll be back. Back in San Jose, getting set for a restart. 26 minutes of racing to go. The question is, how many, if any, more caution laps will we have? Check this out. Robert Dornbos, after being wrecked on lap 1 and needing a new nose, he's your restart leader on the same pit stop sequence.
And that's what we expected, because he had pitted so much later. He could have so much of a quicker pit stop to fill his car up with fuel. Now everyone's full of fuel, but he made a quicker pit stop, takes the lead. Again, this is a guy who might as well just start these races from pit road, because everything has gone his way after, and he was as close as you can get to losing a lap. The Hamacho team got him going just in the nick of time.
Now the lights are out on the Mazda RX-8 safety car. Thought they were going to restart this time by, but as they come off red back corner, no. Caution, one more lap. Bill Stevens.
Down here with Michael Cannon, you may get a Nobel Prize for intelligence if you pull this one out. Not the way you drew it up on the blackboard, but it seems to be going your way now.
You'll be amazed. This is exactly what we wanted. The yellows happened exactly what we wanted. We have 2 different game plans here, one for the yellow there, one for the next yellow. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy to see you, Bill. Usually means good things are about to happen.
There's always something happening down here, that's for sure.
Well, they found the good luck chart. Bill Stevens, he's going to have to be permanently camped down there in Minardi pits. But, Neil Johnny, now, we also have not really seen everybody's true colors, because we don't know earlier. Well, we had a pretty good idea who was saving fuel and who wasn't. Now they can go for it.
Getting set for a restart. Dornbos will be the leader now. Our Mazda pit stop, virtual pit stop. Who'd you like to least see in your mirrors here? Tracy, 75% of the vote. Text A, B, or C to 55333. Most cell carriers will take your call. You can still register a vote. Dan Clark also in the mix there, and Clark involved in a couple of incidents here. He is 75 laps down behind the wall. He'll be shown 17th.
Pace car stayed out again, it looked like.
Yeah, the restart waved off. Field's starting to pick up the speed a little bit. J.D. Wilbur in the flag stand still showing the caution flag. So we will stay full course yellow for at least another lap. All right, let's show you how we've gotten to this point as we put 82 laps on the board, 24 minutes to go in our timed event. On lap 1, trouble right here. Justin Wilson was the pole sitter. Bourdais got by going down into 1. But in heading to turn 2, there was a big stack up in turn 1. Just a couple of near misses there. And then you have this, Dornbos drilling the back end of Jan Halen's machine, knocked the nose off the Ozjet 14 car, and then you had Bourdais slip up the racetrack, which gave Wilson the lead. And I'm sure Wilson thought, hey, I'm headed to the house until this.
He was. He slowed down to try and get everybody packed up. We thought his engine shut off. Dan Clark rammed it from behind.
Damage there you could see to the right rear corner of the CDW9 car. The R Sports team pitted Wilson. They fixed the car. He's back out way behind. Clark had a couple of incidents. Now Neil Johnny and Oriol Servia had a great battle for the lead here.
Came through. Neil Johnny aggressively took it on the previous lap. They exchanged that position twice.
Robert Dornbos on a totally different pit stop sequence, scooting off to the lead. This was the pass and repass between Servia and Johnny here for second spot at the time. Now everyone packed up behind Robert Dornbos.
Robert, going green this time, going green this time.
Here's your Cosworth power to pass, time left. Tristan Gomandy lines up fourth. He hasn't even touched the button yet.
Oh, but here comes Johnny.
Looking, don't block him, do not block him.
Cautioning Dornbos has been penalized for blocking this year, as has Johnny. Opens the door for Johnny. Into one. Can he make it stick? He does. Can Dornbos come back at him? Neil Johnny takes the lead with a bonsai charge down into turn one.
Great that we got a chance to listen to that radio, because you could almost sense the fact that Robert Dornbos, just the natural thing to do was to pull over and block, but they would have given him a drive-through penalty. Yes, he lost the lead, but at least he's out there without a penalty. Here comes Serbia.
Oriol Serbia trying to get up on the wheel here and see if he can get around Bobby D. Fourth spot belongs to Power. Bourdais now up to fifth.
And see, that's what we talked about. Now we know that people are not saving fuel. Now we see their true colors. We know that Dornbos pulled out a lead because he was not saving fuel. Everyone else was. Now we're on even playing field. See what everybody's got under the hood.
I think we talked about this being a California street fight when we came on the air this afternoon. That's what's shaping up with 21.5 minutes to go. On board Power in the Aussie Vineyards 5. He's got Bourdais knocking on the back door there in the McDonald's machine, the one car. Ray Hall's next in line. Bruno Junqueira's moved himself up to 7th on the Sonny's Barbecue 19 for Dale Coyne's team.
We saw some big difference in power to pass. And looking, and yes, Neil Johnny had used a good portion of that power to pass to get by Dornbos. And when we went to that graphic, you saw that Dornbos was kind of out to dry. He couldn't use any. He only had 2 seconds left.
He's got one more squirt. Now, if he applies that coming off the final corner, he would have it for the full front stretch?
He would get a full 12 seconds as long as you save at least 1 second, but he had to save that for the last lap. He couldn't have used it there.
Oriol Serbia third, Paul Tracy back in 12th, Cameron.
Paul Tracy's falling back to 12th. I know at one point you guys were trying to save fuel, Neil, and then you told them to go. What happened, and why did the car die?
Well, we were trying to save fuel in order to try and go as far as everybody else. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, we couldn't make the kind of mileage that other people were. At that point, you might as well just use the fuel and go as fast as you can. And then ultimately, we had some sort of a communication error. We called him to come into the pits, and I guess he didn't hear us. And by the time he did hear us, then he was past the pit entrance. So it's unfortunately, you know, we tried to make the rest of the lap, ran out of fuel, and now we're 2 laps down.
A tough break. Thank you, Neil Mickelwright, giving us the information there. He's on the radio for Paul Tracy.
DT was up in the top 5 there, and now he is going to end the day a couple of laps down to the leaders, running in 12th position. We welcome you to San Jose, to Redback Raceway, the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of San Jose. I'm Rick Benjamin with Jan Beekes. Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, Michelle Beisner for us on pit road. It has been a wild one today in the streets, and a great move there by Bruno Junqueira to close the door on Simon Pagenaud and hang on to 7th. This is Oriol Serbia. Serbia running in 3rd behind Robert Dornbos. Your race leader is Neil Johnny. First laps he's led in his rookie season in the Champ Car World Series. 4-time winner this year and 3-time defending champ Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car for Newman Haas Lanigan. Well, he's had a struggle on his hands. Quick qualifier Friday, struggled with the car yesterday in final qualifying, started on the front row, got outgunned by Justin Wilson as he slipped up the racetrack. Bourdais had a couple of problems today. They have fought hard. He is 5th. I don't know, Jan, the clock running down, inside 20 minutes to go. I'm not so sure that Bourdais got much for the leaders.
19 minutes.
And that is his radio communication. Kenny Seawick telling him 19. And I agree with you that he's just hanging on. Car's not doing what he wants it to do. He's just going to ride around, try and stay out of trouble. And, you know, there are times when you've got the right setup, and you heard Craig Hampson say earlier that they fought a brake bias problem all weekend, and when they finally fixed it, there was only 1 session left to get the balance of the car right.
He's trailing his teammate, or rather Graham Rahal trailing Bourdais. They are nose to tail. Bourdais 5th, Rahal 6th. It's been a busy week for Newman Haas Lanigan. A couple of days ago in the run-up to the Brickyard 400 Nextel Cup race in Indianapolis, it was announced that Newman Haas Lanigan was going to partner with Robert Yates Racing in the NASCAR world. Doesn't affect anything in their Champ Car program, but what could affect it a great deal is if Sebastian Bourdais moves to Formula One next year. His option period with Toro Rosso is up in a couple of days.
On Tuesday is when that expires, and that has been, and you know, poor Bourdais has been trying to work as hard as he can to try and get this car tuned up, and he's pretty much been barraged with questions of, have you got the call from Toro Rosso yet? And then, what's the whole deal about NASCAR? If Toro Rosso doesn't work out, are you going to NASCAR? So he's had a hard time, really, at least with the media, being able to concentrate on San Jose.
Bourdais, though, with his mind set on winning a 4th straight Champ Car World Series title this season, that would be a record setter in this series.
It's worth saying that his answer was, no, I haven't got the call, and no, most likely I'm not going to NASCAR.
I would be surprised if he was going to do that, although after he had that success in IROC a couple of years ago,
liked it.
Won an oval track race at Texas Motor Speedway, said, hey, this wouldn't be bad, I might give this a whirl. But he is the kingpin here, 5th today. Meantime, Alex Tagliani in the 8 car for our sports, the Walmart machine. He was up in the top 5 earlier and headed to the front, but they're stuck on pit road. Tag's still in the car, but he's up on the air jacks, and nobody's in much of a hurry there. They've got the umbrella out. Full course yellow, we're being told. And Alex Figge has popped the wall. In the Redback Networks, Pacific Coast Motorsports 29, you can see it looks like he's got a tire down, and something is bent in the rear of the race car. So over at the Budweiser chicane, headed up toward turn 6, Alex Figge has gotten into the wall, and we are under caution. 16.5 minutes to go of racing. 90 laps about to go on the board for the race leader, Neil Jani, who's looking awfully good in the Gulfstream Red Bull PKV car. Can Bobby Dornbos, Serbia, or Power get up and challenge?
Tuesday.
Part of the fun of coming to San Jose for the Champ Car Grand Prix of San Jose, the Canary Foundation last night, their annual gala. The Cabana Gala, the theme this year. The Canary Foundation discovering the way to find cancer through a simple blood test and treating or removing the disease while it's small. They had an auction of some hard-to-find items. A lot of the drivers and series officials were on hand to celebrate at the Canary Fund's annual gala here in San Jose. Part of the celebration of the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of San Jose. Michelle.
Sir, Jimmy Vasser, team owner right here at PKV. Understand something happened down here with Gomedy. Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah, well, he lost his radio, came unplugged, so we couldn't communicate with him. And so we were trying to communicate on the board, and we were about out of fuel. When the pits opened, he didn't come in. So it's just too bad that we didn't have the radio. Too bad he didn't assume, really that he was really out of fuel anyway. He needed to come in, so that's why we went to the back of the line.
Thanks for the update.
Tristan Gomedy will line up 10th on the restart. Talk about a contrast in 2 weeks from the tightest racetrack in the series to the most wide open. The points battle, the right to claim the Vanderbilt Cup as we head to Elkhart Lake. The Champ Car World Series Generac Grand Prix of Elkhart Lake. You'll see it on ABC Sports in 2 weeks, Sunday, August the 12th at 3 Eastern. Hope you can join us. More information at ESPN.com, ESPN on ABC.
Now, to clarify that situation with Jimmy Vasser and what Michelle was talking about, remember we said at the time, why didn't Gomedy pit? Well, now we know he didn't have a radio, but then it looked like he was passed around the pace car when in fact he just passed the pace car himself, and they gave him a drive-through, so he's now back in 10th.
So Tristan Gomedy, as we get on board the CDW9 with Justin Wilson. We talked earlier about how they'd had problems. He had gotten hit by Dan Clark from behind coming to a restart, broke a toe link. 20 laps down, Wilson 15th, but back on the racetrack.
And hey, guys, real quick on an update, Sebastian Bourdais on the radio saying that his engine is running a little hot. Not a big issue right now, but definitely something to watch as we wind up this race here in San Jose.
And Cameron, another thing to watch, I think, is the fact that Robert Dornbos doesn't have any power to pass. He's got only 2 seconds left on the power to pass. Last time he was a sitting duck. Let's see if Serbia uses it and gets after him now.
At 93 about to go on the board. Less than 12 minutes of racing to go. There's Bourdais restarting 5th, Rahal 6th. Johnny is the leader in the Red Bull Gulfstream car. Down into 1. Dornbos, Serbia, and Power. There is Serbia.
And Serbia didn't use it. I wonder, I don't know why Serbia just didn't burn some. I guess he wants to save it for the end of the event.
He's on it now, as is Johnny.
Oh, there it is. I think it's delayed on the signal is what that is. I would have been shocked if he didn't use it on that restart. Just a slight delay on that telemetry.
Now, for a while, it appeared that Serbia had the fastest race car out here. Now that honor seems to fall to Johnny as he opens up on Dornbos. Half a second was the lead last time by the start-finish line as they came to the green. Let's get on board Will Power's car. The Aussie Vineyards 5 up to 4th now. Bourdais 5th behind him. Rahal 6th.
Sebastian Bourdais, we heard about the car running hot. Well, you would be if you're right behind Will Power, especially at the slow speeds. It's a hot day, hard to keep your mental concentration, but now up to speed, that car should be A-okay.
Will Power has got some special guests here this weekend. His dad, Bob Power, and his youngest brother, Dame, experiencing their first ever Champ car. Very excited. They said that it's like nothing that they've ever seen. It's even that much more exciting to be right there in all of the action. Unfortunately, though, because Will Power is so superstitious, he had to send them up to their hotel room to enjoy the rest of the race.
I can't imagine that. A race driver telling his family they couldn't come to the racetrack.
You never did that in your time, did you?
I did that once, yes. It was a bad call. I was under pressure, banned the family from the racetrack, thought I would go faster. I've since learned my lesson.
You're still paying for that, I understand. Is that right?
Yep. You know, guys, Will Power is really superstitious. He doesn't shave anymore during race weekend and always gets in and out of the car.
Bobby Dornbos going for the lead in one. He gets by Johnny. Dornbos throw all the cards into the center of the table, Jan, and he's moving over. Can he give Johnny enough room here?
And he just used the last of his power to pass. He decided, I don't want it for the end of the race. He now shows a big goose egg. He took that last 2 seconds. Again, he got all 12, but he shot it. He's got nothing else left. For whatever reason, he thought he had the opportunity. And I thought Neil Johnny was off to the races. I thought he had the car to beat. Yeah. You thought so as well. But Dornbos said, I'm going to use whatever I have left and see if I can hold him off.
Well, you're all in when you do that. Now, Johnny's still got 12 seconds of power to pass time remaining. That button on the dash, that Cosworth button, it gives you the extra 50 horsepower. Now, if Johnny were smart here, Jan, he could burn one shot, get close, and then a second shot probably to try to get back around Bobby D. Here's another look at what happened. The driver of the Ozjet 14 car taking the lead.
At this point, again, there's that white line right down the middle of the racetrack to where Neil Johnny is not allowed to go over and block. He tried to do the repass, but that was just fantastic timing. See, it's one, power to pass does not help you to go by somebody unless you have a run. When you have a run on another car, and I'm wondering, Dornbos is taken off. I'm wondering if Neil Johnny might be running into a little bit of trouble here.
Dornbos has opened up the lead. It's more than a second now in the Muirman's Ozjet 14 car. He won at Mount Tremblant. Can Bobby D bag his second win in his rookie Champ Car season and get closer in the championship chase? We'll find out when we come back. 6 minutes to go at San Jose, Redback Raceway, the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix of San Jose. I'm Rick Benjamin with Jan Vikas. It's been a great run late in the going for Bobby D. Robert Dornbos ran a 50.158 the last time. Yanni ran a 49.9 the previous lap. And look at the lead he's opened up over Neil Johnny with no power to pass.
He is just, as you said, a 49-second lap. He's just taking, and that's what you're going to do. You have to have confidence to go burn the rest of your power to pass. But I think that Neil Johnny, judging by his lap times, they're not as good as the drivers behind, and he's going to start feeling, and you can see it. They're all lined up looking for their shot at Neil Johnny.
Hey, real quick, guys, I just want to add that Alex Tagliani had a great car and had a good run going, but the shifting mechanism started to leak, which overworked the compressor and made it fail, and that's why he's in the pits, still getting set to go back out.
Tough break for the Walmart 8 team, the R Sports bunch. They were a top 5 car in the first half. On board Will Power's Aussie Vineyards machine. Right behind him, Sebastian Bourdais. They are 4th and 5th. A look up front. Power hoping to reel in Oriol Servia and get up on the podium here. He's got championship hopes this season. In the points chase, had a bad run a week ago. They had a mechanical failure. Their steering rack broke at Edmonton. And Power was not around at the finish. He's got those 2 wins this year, but a DNF really hurts you in the championship hunt.
They have issued an update for all of the teams that it was the pinion gear that drives the steering rack that broke. We talked earlier about that you have 4 or 5 different steering ratios you can use. Turned out that with one of those ratios, the teeth somehow were weak. They've now updated all the cars, but unfortunately in that case, Will Power was the crash dummy.
Ironically enough, Graham Rahal has reported on the radio that he has been having steering problems with this rack. So we know he had a problem previously this year. I'm sure it's not the same problem, but he has been talking about it on the radio.
And he's one of the drivers, Cameron, as you know, that has been experimenting with those different ratios to try and find out what he liked best down there in the hairpin. It does appear as though they want to use the real fast rack, but I don't believe that everyone likes the one that really is aggressive.
The Canary Foundation, of course, one of the big beneficiaries and backers of this San Jose Champ Car Grand Prix. There's Bourdais in the red McDonald's machine, right behind the car of Will Power, 4th and 5th. Back there is Rahal. Now we've got an interesting situation developing now. We've been trying to speculate as to what happened. Dornbos was out of power to pass time virtually, made that bonsai move to retake the lead from Johnny going down into turn 1. I think the interesting thing here is Johnny is on the Bridgestone Reds. The alternate softer should be faster Potenzas. Here's the race leader Dornbos on Bridgestone Blacks, on the regular Bridgestone.
In fact, Rick, his team is telling him that is a concern right now, not with fuel conservation, but tire conservation. He picked up the pace so much, his crew chief, Michael Cannon, told him a few moments ago, we're getting toward the end, you're faster than everybody, try not to burn your tires up.
Well, you wouldn't burn the black sidewall Bridgestones anywhere near as fast as you would the reds. And so it's a case where reds are always going to be quicker at first, but they don't have the same longevity.
That's what I'm wondering, Jan. You were speculating as to maybe Johnny having a problem. The first thing popped to mind for me was maybe he ran the tires off the car.
It's a case where, again, they're softer, they don't last as long, but they'll give you some short-term grip. But again, there's so many components to these cars, it can be a combination of things.
Tristan Gomini, meantime, that penalty, that drive-through, we thought he was going to be in great shape in the last round of pit stops. He is 9th right now, trying to get up and challenge Simon Pagenaud, who's backing up. Pagenaud was 6th earlier. Well, Graham Rahal's gotten by him to move to 6th, and Bruno Junqueira very quietly. And Dale Coyne's Sonny's barbecue car up to 7th.
Well, there's possibly the answer. Now, both of those, I should say, Pagenaud also on the red sidewall Bridgestones, and you said he was backing up. Look at that, Gomini's on the blacks. So maybe that's the correlation you're talking about, that the reds don't seem in the late stages of the race to have the longevity. Here comes Gomini.
Tristan Gomini with power to pass time on the inside down into 1. This has worked several times today. Mentioned earlier, several crew chiefs, team engineers said, hey, you can't pass here. We heard it from Craig Hampson with Sebastian Bourdais. Not the case. We've seen many moves going down into turn 1, the Toyota hairpin.
He did use some of his power to pass to do that, but I think we've hit on that one. It appears as though at the end of this race, you want to be on the blacks.
A minute and a half to go, about 2 more laps here. Neil Johnny runs 2nd in the Gulfstream Red Bull iRise PKV car. It's been a great run for Johnny in his rookie season. This would be his best finish by far if he can hang on. Oriol Servia's got 20 seconds of power to pass time. Will Power's got 28. He's on the button right now. Power trying to defend against Bourdais and see if he can get up on Servia. Bourdais back in 5th, Rahal back in 6th. See the Metazone car back there, the light blue machine. Now Bourdais is getting his elbows up. He says, hey, I got an opportunity. Maybe I can get something done here in the last lap or 2. Bob Dornbos headed to the house, it appears, in the Ozjet car number 14 around Blue Coat Corner. Should see 1 to go this time by. Dornbos, the surprise winner at Mont Tremblant several weeks ago.
Lap, Robert.
1 to go. The indication from J.D. Wilbur in the flag stand to the field here at the San Jose Champ Car Grand Prix. What a great run for Dornbos.
Here comes second spot.
Servia 3rd there behind Johnny. They have swapped that spot several times today. Power and Bourdais fighting over 4th. Rahal back there. He is 6th.
If the reds are not as good, you have to say that Neil Johnny cooled them off. You talked about running them off the car, cooled them off. Now he's on it.
Robert Dornbos in the Ozjet Minardi Muirmans car number 14. Looks as though he's headed to his 2nd Champ Car World Series win of the year. Final corner, the red back corner for Robert Dornbos. Here he comes to the checkered flag. What a surprise. Dornbos is your winner. 6 seconds back, it's Neil Johnny in 2nd, Servia 3rd, Power 4th, and Bourdais ends up 5th. Michael Cannon quarterbacked a great race today for Robert Dornbos. Dornbos wrecked on lap number 1, knocked the nose off that car, contact with the car of Jan Heylen, left his wing up in Helen's race car. They had to tow him back to pit road, fix the car. Bobby D up on the wheel all afternoon, comes home the winner of the Champ Car Grand Prix of San Jose at Redback Raceway. What a run.
He prides himself on his physical conditioning. It is a hot, difficult day today. He didn't panic, and along with his crew, what a great payday.
81 degrees, the air temperature, but the track temp over 130 when we took the green an hour and 45 ago. The packed house here in San Jose, enjoying the victory by Robert Dornbos. He closes down the championship lead to Bourdais. Great crowd as always for the San Jose Grand Prix presented by Redback Networks. The 9th race of the Champ Car World Series season. His 2nd victory in his rookie year in victory lane. Robert Dornbos, the winner, Cameron Steele.
Well, it looks like an exhausted Robert Dornbos. We have Paul Stoddard down here, Keith Wiggins and team owners congratulating him. Robert, would you have ever thought coming from 15th position you would have brought home the checkers today?
Do you like that? Do you like that? I like it. What a race, man. What a race. Thanks to all the boys. I mean, the car was great. It's so much bad luck the whole weekend, so I'm really, really happy now.
What about with the accident early in the race? What happened? The chaos ensues. The checkered flags are waving. My questions at this point are meaningless as the champagne is flying and he is going crowd surfing with the team. That's how Bobby D rocks it in victory lane.
They say there's no passing in Champ Car from 15th to 1st for Robert Dornbos here today. Recovered from that wreck on lap 1.
All right, well, we got back over here with Robert Dornbos. We were calling you Bobby D. The accident in the first lap, what happened? Talk to us about it.
I knew it when we had such a bad qualifying. Basically, we couldn't run at all in quali, and then we start from the back. And you know you're in trouble then in the tight hairpin like that. So I was stopped. I was standing still, and still I hit somebody, and I climbed over somebody. And I mean, we got back to the pits, changed the nose, and then the car just felt good. I mean, the steering angle was bent, so I was on the straight, a bit leaning to the left. But I saw Yanni struggle, and I passed him, and this was mine. I feel it. So it's a great way to finish 2 bad weekends.
Congratulations, there you have it. Bobby D rocking home the gold trophy.
What a run for Dornbos. We thought that he had no chance. Yanni was out of power to pass. He managed to get by Neil Johnny with his last burst there.
He saved 2 seconds. He got all 12 out of it. And I think the red sidewall tire certainly hurt Neil Johnny.
Sebastian Bourdais still has the title lead, finishes 5th here today. Justin Wilson really took a big hit, ending up 13th. Bill Stevens.
Neil Johnny, your second P2 finish in 3 races, and you led your first Champ Car race of your career. Tell us about the drive today.
Oh, well, it was an up and down. I really hoped to win, but then on the last stint, we were on reds, the other guys were on blacks, and it looks like that decided the race in the end. I just suffered too much understeer and couldn't hold off Dornbos anymore. But anyway, the Red Bull team the Red Bull PKV team did a great job. Got us onto the podium, got some points, but sure, you want to win after leading so many laps.
Hey, congratulations, Neil.
Neil Johnny comes home second, his best run in the Champ Car World Series. Servia ends up 3rd. Robert Dornbos commanding lead now in the Rocheron's Rookie of the Year points chase. 50 points ahead of Neil Johnny and Simone Pagenaud, Rahal, and Gomedy, the rest of the top 5. What a day here in San Jose at Redback Raceway. Cameron Steele, your 3rd place finisher, pretty happy, I'm sure.
Definitely happy getting on the podium, but some problems with the pit stop might have cost you the win, huh, Oriol?
Well, it was something in a gun, but it's okay. You know, last race in Edmonton, we made lots of spots on the pits, and today maybe we lost the win, but you know, podium still is a great comeback for us, and you know, we showed all weekend we're running up front. We're running up front all season.
Definitely happy to get the podium. He had a podium in Long Beach and brings it back again. Send it back upstairs.
Just his 6th start for Forsyth Championship Racing. Servia back on the podium with a great 3rd place run here today. Now, our Vanderbilt Cup standings after 9 races. Bourdais lead just 10 unofficially over Dornbos. Will Power close to in 3rd. Michelle. Obviously,
we're looking right now at a piece of Will Power's car that's stuck on your car. Obviously a difficult day. What's going on out there?
It was a tough day, but made a mistake at under yellow. Well, actually, I made a first mistake after passing Justin after a good start. Run wide in turn 2, and then under yellow I got a little greedy, I guess. I just tried to save too much fuel and stayed in 7th gear, low revs at the hairpin, and when I released the clutch, the car died. And you know, it was just a tough day.
All right, let's get over to Bill Stevens right now.
Plus, in the excitement, Will Power was the inspired drive that you had today. Not a very good grid position and a 4th place finish.
Yeah, I just did what I said I was going to do, keep out of trouble, try to get as many positions as I can and save fuel. And we did that, and got a couple of points back on Sebastian. I mean, that was the key. And, you know, we're in a good 3rd place now, so, you know, happy for the team. It was a bit of a disastrous weekend at the start, but finished well.
Congratulations. You really impressed a lot of people. Guys?
Very interesting. We heard Sebastian say he thought it was down to being greedy. He wanted to leave it in 7th gear to save fuel. That's why it stalled.
A wild one here today. Many changes of fortune through the course of the afternoon. And a surprise winner from 15th on the grid. Robert Dornbos is your winner. And he is now just 10 points out of the championship lead. In 2 weeks, we're back at it. The Generac Champ Car Grand Prix of Road America at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. A reminder, this chase for the Vanderbilt Cup continues with round 10. Our coverage is at 3 Eastern on ABC in 2 weeks. Sunday, August 12th, one of America's great road courses. 4 miles around Road America. It will be a great show. For Jan Beekes, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, and Michelle Beisner, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner today. Recovering from a wreck, winner for the second time this year, Robert Dornbos. He wins the San Jose Grand Prix, presented by Redback Networks. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Up next on ESPN2, the Fram Auto Light NHRA Nationals.